Yo, somebody's been lying. But we're about to get to the bottom of it. Alright, we find ourselves in a weird time. Alright, a time where people are getting replaced. Lands are being conquered. And people can go from looking like one thing to looking like something completely different. Overnight. So in 1755, Benjamin Franklin said that the number of purely white people in the world is proportionately very small. So how did the numbers change so drastically? Watch this.
On this photo from Portland, Maine, of the old City Hall. In their newspaper from 1888, they wrote that it was built in 1825 and was used in 1832. So this was going on like 200 years ago. And you can see what they're all riding around on. They were able to build these kind of structures so fast, apparently, that after 63 years, this thing was so outdated and needed to be demolished. And it's interesting because this exact story is given to us all over the USA. And in all honesty, it's all over the world. It's weird how we were told that they lived in sheds, yet could afford to knock down relatively new structures like this. Oh, and we are told that they built this thing with a population of like 8,000 people. Like I said before, anyone on a horse, a donkey, and anyone who had a wagon, a shovel, or a chisel was born with incredible architecture skills in the 1800s. It's incredible stuff. And I know some of you have mentioned this topic in the comments below. Well, here is a conveniently half-destroyed photo from the 1904 World's Fair. And if we just zoom in a little, you can see what this exhibit was. And here's the description we are given. Served as a fair attraction and a working hospital. This is normal for a fair attraction? These fairs have a much darker purpose than what we have been told. Just read that last sentence. They were brought from hospitals to the concessions. Well, they were brought from somewhere, and this is such a weird thing. Using common sense, how many mothers would allow their kid that is born early to leave the hospital to be, in their own words, an attraction at a fair? Let's use our brains a little now. These are not coming from the hospital, in my opinion. If you want me to get more into this, I will. But I think we get the point, that this was an operation to populate these cities again. And when did Ellis Island start taking immigrants? New Year's Day, 1892. Perfect time to start an operation. You don't find it odd that right around the exact same time period as these World's Fairs, you have these operations to refill the USA back up with a brand new batch of people.
So we're speaking about the World's Fair, alright? And when you think about the World's Fair, you think about the architecture. And we know that the architecture is Moorish architecture, is Tartarian architecture. But who are the Tartarians? Who were the true architects? Alright, Quraysh Turks, alright? Their name meaning black may ultimately derive from the Qurayshites, a Turco-Mongol polity in the 11th century Central Asia, absorbed into the Mongol Empire and participated in the Mongol invasion of the 13th century, but may also be connected to those of various other Central Asian groups, alright? After various groups of these Turkic nomads became part of the armies of the Mongol conqueror Genghis Khan in the early 13th century, a fusion of Mongol and Turkic elements took place. The Turco-Mongols, a term referring to a mixture of Mongol and Turkic peoples, were often known historically by the terms of Tatars or Tartars. Qurayshites, alright, the Mongol legend traced the clan back to 8 brothers with unusually dark faces. The Greek name Aethiops in Ethiopian is a compound word derived from the 2 Greek words translate as burnt face. So these Tartars derived from the 8 brothers who had unusually dark faces in the Asia area. And just like faces can change overnight, and Moses can be brown, and a Somali man can be white, we'll see how a people that derive from 8 brothers known with unusually dark faces can turn fairly bright. Somebody's been lying.